Hi, and welcome back to Auntie Coley's house. Come on in. We're making bath bombs today. I'm going to put rose in it because I love the smell of roses. So you need to find some essential oil of whatever you want your bath bomb to smell like. And also make sure that it's good on your skin. You have to read the stuff and it'll tell you, good for topical, good for this. Some will actually say do not use on your skin at all, so make sure you get the right one. Okay. I'm also just going to use just a tiny bit of food color, and I'm going to use like maybe 2 drops to make the ball a little pink. Now this is a pretty big bath bomb, and the one that I'm going to make today, it makes just about enough for one. Okay. I'm also going to put a little oil on the inside of this so it releases, because sometimes these things are like lava hard and you just cannot get them out of these darn things. I've become so frustrated. I've just jammed them and broke the whole thing and then had to make them all over again. So I'm trying to help you guys not have to do that. So just rub a little bit of oil on the inside, just thin, so that when they dry, you're going to let this dry for about 24 hours in here so it keeps its shape. And then you can take it out, put it on a plate the next day and let it dry up the rest. If you have a lot of humidity in the house, which I do, you turn your air on, or if you live in a human spot, hopefully in a humid spot, just turn up your air conditioner quite a bit so that you don't have that issue, because this will start working before you throw it in to the bath where you want it. I have a water bottle, just a squeeze water bottle, because instead of dropping water in at the end by drops, I just use this because, again, if you use too much water, it'll start fizzing and it's a nightmare. It is just a nightmare. So, got a little whisk. It's just easier when you're putting all of these together to make sure that you get a really good mixture. But you can certainly use a spoon. You don't need a whisk. And just keep spoon. If you think you've stirred it too long, stir it a little longer. Just make sure that it just incorporates all together. And then also with your essence here, you need to incorporate that into here with an oil. Okay, so I use coconut oil. We're going to be using about 2 tablespoons of that. You're going to put this in a separate bowl. Your liquid stuff goes in a separate bowl than your dry stuff, and then you're slowly going to add this as you're whisking it, and then you'll just spray a little water on it until it becomes just like wet sand, like you're at the beach. Okay, so let's start. And also, another word of warning. I have, I have dripped this on a countertop that had the tack paper to cover it, and it literally took the color right out of that tack paper. So please work on some kind of safe support here, because if you get it on, like, I'm not sure on my wood table what it would do, so I just have a barrier. You don't want to do that, and I saw it firsthand, so be careful. Okay, so the first thing you want, so baking soda is the biggest part of this, because this is what makes it work. So you need 1 cup of that, and just your old run-of-the-mill baking soda. It doesn't have to be brand name, just has to be baking soda. Do not freak out about how exact everything is either. And the starch is just kind of something that helps it hold together. So you get the 1 cup of the baking soda and then a 1/2 cup of everything else. So we're going to put a 1/2 cup of starch. Ooh, that's nice. Starting early. So we're going to put a 1/2 cup of starch in there. It's a little messy. And then a half a cup of Epsom salt. Now, I'll tell you a little trick. They do have Epsom salts with smellies in them. You can even find them at the dollar store. A bag just about enough that you need. But since I'm going to add a smell to this, I got the plain Epsom salt. But it even comes in lavender. You can get lavender smells, eucalyptus, and then you won't even have to get the use the essence. So half a cup of this. Ooh, that's heavy. This stuff is great. I love this stuff. I use the lavender stuff in the bathtub. Boy, does that calm you down. Really good stuff. I love that in the bathtub. Now, also, when you're making these bombs, whatever you put them in them is going to end up in your bathtub that you're going to have to clean out. So I normally do not stick like any rose petals or lavender buds or anything into my bath bomb because of that reason. Probably because I'm just lazy and I'm not going to be cleaning all that stuff out of my tub. That would probably drive me crazy. And then the last one is citric acid. All right. Half a cup of all of that. And then just make sure. Covering that. Now with this, you just want to whisk. Yeah, boy, the first time that, that I made one of these, what a mess. I added that water a little bit too fast and that started fizzing and I tried to save it for 2 days. I just kept stuffing it back, adding starch. It was a nightmare. So I've started to just try and do it right the first time. So just make sure, this does get a little cloudy. All right, so that's probably good right there. Now we're going to set this aside for a minute and we're going to make, in our next bowl, we're going to put our 2 tablespoons of the oil. I use coconut oil for just about everything. I love this stuff. It just makes me happy. However, down here, I think it's 76 degrees where it will go to liquid. So my house is over on this side of my house. It is probably a little more than 76 degrees. I'm going to have to go turn my air down even a little bit more. All right, so use about 2 tablespoons of that. And then 2 teaspoons of whatever you want it to smell like, unless, of course, you've got the Epsom salt, which if you want to do something easy, do it that way, boy. So it's a little teaspoon thing. This is the one that I use for the essence, period. So otherwise I would be using a stainless steel one or something for this so that it, because remember, whatever plastic you put this in is going to end up smelling, the plastic will absorb the essence. All right. And also be careful too and make sure that you wash your hands if you do get this on there, because this is super concentrated. And until you mix it into this little carrier liquid, it might cause you some irritation. So don't get too much of this on your skin or on your eyes or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to go wash my hands now and put this in my sink, and I'll be right back. We're going to put just a couple drops of food coloring in there. If you don't want food coloring, that's okay. Just stir this up and you're good to go. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. We will just add a couple drops of this in there. Now remember, This absolutely will not mix with this oil, okay? Oil and water, they just don't mix. So just stir it up as much as you can. You're just going to get a whole bunch of polka dots in there. But when you pour this into your mixture there, that's when your color is going to really come around. Some of it, I usually try and do it until it does turn a little pinky. Okay. Now we have everything diluted. And we're ready to go. So I'm going to go put this in my sink real quick, and then I'll meet you back here in a second. Okay, I'm back. So it's our mixture. Like I said, be very careful, okay? And just start doing this little by little. Just little by little. And you're looking for the consistency of wet beach sand. Whoops. Yeah, don't go crazy there. And I usually end up doing this with my hands. See how it turns a nice pink color? Okay, so I'm going to start mixing this with my hands. That just works better for me. Get these big clumps out of here first. And this one is just a really pale pink. You can put as much coloring as you want. You can use natural colors. However you want to do it. Okay. I'm going to start mixing this with my hands and then just spraying it with the water here. And then I will stuff this with this. So let's get going. Now, if you're sensitive to these essential oils, just throw on some gloves. Just get some plastic gloves. You probably got a nurse that lives next door anyways. Go ask her. She's got a ton. Okay, so this isn't too terrible. It's a little dry. And you don't want it to be dry either, because then your bath bomb it'll just crumble. Okay, so we'll just add a little bits at a time. It just takes a little bit, but this is so easy to do. And it makes such a nice gift too. You have everything in your cupboards. Mostly everything. Does not cost much. And this Sunday is Mother's Day, so I am making my mother a little basket of bath bombs and some lip balm. I'm going to put that video on here in the next couple days. And then I'm going to make her a basket of hand scrub and a heel scrub and a bath bomb and some lip balm. And I just bought a cute basket with the lid on it at the thrift store. And I'm just going to fill it with some stuff that looks like straw in it. It looks really cute. And I'll just put these in there and give that to her. Okay, so you keep doing this. And then I will meet you back when I get to the right consistency. but we're getting close because you wanted to do this, but you don't want it to fall apart so easy. So I'll be back. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of mineral oil in these, and I thought we could do a little experiment too. We can dust one with cornstarch, see if that helps, and then we'll put the mineral on the other one. Messy. Everything's messy. Okay, so just wipe your cornstarch in there. All right, make sure you get it all over the place. And then we can just try a little bit of cornstarch on the other one. I'm gonna go knock a little bit of this out in my sink. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got one side dusted with the starch and we have one side with mineral oil. So we'll see which side works best. Hopefully they both work well. I've never used the cornstarch, but I just saw that on a different page. So we'll try that. Okay, so most importantly is get my hair out of there. Number one, it's everywhere. When you are filling these, make sure that you're pressing as hard as you can into the mold. And then you always want to overfill it because when you put the molds together, you're going to press them super, super hard so that they meld together. Otherwise, you're going to end up with two halves, which I guess it doesn't matter because you can use a mold for anything. So if you got two halves, then just make them cute. They'll work the same way. All right, so do that, and then we'll fill this side. And then I've got enough extra for a smaller mold. But we're going to have to, I don't really have a smaller mold like this that's stainless steel. My mom used to have these egg poachers that look like these with a little handle. That'd be perfect right now. Okay, so then you're going to take these two, okay, and you're just going to push them together really, really hard, okay? Ugh. And these things do like to expand if you get too much water in it. It looks like just a little too much. So I'm going to tie this together with some twine to help it stay together. And then we'll let it dry in here. I'll come back and we will take the mold off and see how well our bath bomb did. Okay, so I'm going to sign off for right now, and we'll pull our thing apart here and see which one worked well. Good luck. And if you think there's still too much water, you can just add a little bit of cornstarch to just little bits at a time to help out with that. Or you can add even a little bit more of the baking soda. You want the baking soda to have the higher ratio. Okay, so there we go. Mine finally quit. Hi. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully all of your bath bombs came out of your molds okay. I want to show you something else that's funny too. But Okay, so there's your bath bomb. Now, what I would say is just sit it down for a little bit and let it dry, for another day or so. But I wanted to show you something because I've never done this before. So if you don't have a mold and you really don't care exactly that they look perfectly spherical like this, the extra stuff that I had while we were filming, I've never just balled it up in my hand. But that's what I did with the extra stuff. And I just really kind of balled it up, and you guys can do a much better job. But if you don't have a mold or you don't have other molds, just go ahead and do this. And then wrap it up in tissue paper, put a little bow around it, and you can give it to your mom. I'm sure she's not going to say anything. Or your friends, or just keep it for yourself. But if you don't have a mold, a perfect mold, and you can't get one, don't worry about it. Just ball it right up. But it has to be, dry enough and wet enough. So if you ball it up and you notice that it's losing all of its strength, you need to add a little more starch and a little more baking soda until it'll hold itself together. But that's what these two are. So I just left these out all night with no mold, and they turned out perfect. So either way, mold, no mold, they're all going to work the same in the water. So hope you had fun. And thank you so much for coming to Auntie Coley's house. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe. We have lots more fun things to do in the future. Have a good one.